I've been around, but I had some surgery, so I had to recuperate from that, and now I'm back.
Okay. Well, glad you recuperated well, and I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And
so Yulia, I don't know what 111 degrees Fahrenheit is exactly in centigrade, but it's probably like 42, 43, something like that, maybe even 45. It's hot. You don't want to be here.
We have about the same right now.
wow.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
That's
hot.
awful. That's awful. Oh my God, global warming. Oh my gosh.
All right. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And since it is about that time, I'm going to go ahead and start with our CleanStart To Do. So welcome to CleanStart To Do. See a lot of regular faces and some new ones. Today, we're going to welcome Joy Larson, Program Director at CalSEED and New Energy Nexus. Hey there, Joy. First, I want to remind everyone to, remain on mute. Now, if for some reason you're, not paying attention and you're making noise, there's a chance that I might boot you from the meeting. That's just to be safe, because we did have some not respectful interrupters last time. So just remember that. And I'm going to go to the chat though and drop a, come on up chat. There we go. And drop a link to this presentation so you can follow along and capture everything that is being said here. Also, there's links throughout the presentation, just as always. So if you want to follow up with anything, that's a great place to go and start. All right, first I want to say support change. Check out our most recent green drinks. I also want to highlight Diversity Ventures and Tech Funding Equity. We're actually going to have a to-do coming up with them on September 10th. I'll tell you more about that in a bit. Also, Veritable Good, who puts out a regular podcast about, or I guess webcasts about equity in the Sacramento area. So if you're curious about that, go check it out. And SMUD, as always, with the sustainable communities, is making sure that every penny that they spend has equity in mind. And with that, I want to thank our sponsors, Weintraub Tobin, Blue Tech Valley, Sac State SMUD, and Moss Adams. And for those of you that just got in, I got more people in the waiting room. I'm going to make sure. For those of you that just got in, I'm going to reshare the link to these slides. All right, and I want to say, if you support what we're doing, please buy us coffee. And I want to thank the past people for buying us coffee: Daniel Clark, Aaron Shaw, Laura Good, Sandra Hall, Thomas Patton, and Ezra Beeman. Buy us coffee. It doesn't take much, but we do put you up on this little plaque here for everyone to see. All right. Some quick announcements. So some calendars for you to follow, but the one I want you to highlight is tomorrow we have Will Barnett of Clipper Creek doing his to-dos. They'll be talking about how Clipper Creek has been adjusting with all the COVID regulations. They're still manufacturing up there in Auburn, producing electric vehicle charging hardware and growing. Also, Mariah Lichtenstern, Diversity Ventures and Tech Funding Equity. She's been supporting entrepreneurship in the Sacramento area for a very long time and helping entrepreneurs grow. And now she's focusing on equity in the funding area, where were laws that have been on the books for close to 100 years now that were explicitly designed to keep certain investors out of the investment market. So I suggest you go check it out. I learned a lot when I talked with her about it. Come and ask her questions and learn about how you can make an impact. Additionally, next week we got Daniel Clark presenting at 1 Million Cups. Daniel Clark, I think I saw him on here. He's a graduate of the CEO Crash Course. Also, towards the end of this, but the Lean Innovator series at Sac State Carlson Center, they have kind of an open come and learn from them at 10 a.m. every Tuesday morning right now. Go register for that, catch the tail end of the kind of lean innovation workshops that they have there. All Oh, is this? Oh, it's animated. All right. So some other announcements. Moss Adams, they have a COVID-19 construction during COVID-19 guidance for energy companies. Go and register for that if you're especially looking at doing any sort of energy project. And Buckhalter has a hybrid and co-located resources with the CalISO, CAISO, Casio. They're the ones that manage basically all the network interactions on the energy grid in California. I also want to highlight and push people towards looking and learning more about EPIC. So the EPIC program investment charge, or the EPIC electric, I thought it was procurement investment charge, but I guess it's electric program investment charge, is $130 million that invests in California's energy market, helping push us to 100% renewables by 2045. And I want to highlight this because they're going to have some pretty big opportunities coming up in September around zero emissions and buildings. So if you have a solution that's around that, pay attention to it. We will have someone from the EPIC program. It is procurement. This is from their website though. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But to go with that, there is, the EPIC forum coming up, the EPIC virtual forum, and September 2nd and 3rd, they're going to be focusing on a carbon neutral future, reimagining buildings. So go in there, sign up for it. And I wanted to highlight, they invest over $130 million annually. This fund money comes from a charge that's on independent or private or independently owned utilities, IOUs. So it's funding that's not really going away. And if you're wondering how do you keep on top of this, stay connected. Check out these CleanStart resources from our mailing list to our website. Also, New Energy Nexus, who you're going to be hearing from. I'm not going to steal all her thunder on what she's going to be announcing, but they have startup resources that are great here, a mailing list, Twitter and LinkedIn too. So stay connected and keep it going. And without further ado, I'm going to welcome Joy Larson, Program Director of New Energy Nexus, and I'm going to let her take it away. And just tell me next slide when you're ready.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Thomas. I have to say CleanStart has done so much. I mean, while everybody's been in lockdown and kind of hunkered down, you guys are doing so much to kind of keep momentum going in Sacramento and in clean energy in California. So kudos. And thank you very much for asking me to come and present today. Our mission in CalSEED is to get the best and brightest innovations from across the entire state of California. It's a big state, we can't reach it all. And so partners like CleanStart really help us lift up the program, broadcast opportunities, recruit applicants, work with startups to apply. The effort that CleanStart does is really instrumental in helping us get a broad range of applicants from the Sacramento and Central Valley areas. So thank you for inviting me to come and talk today about not just CalCEED, but also New Energy Nexus and a little bit of the California ecosystem. Next slide. My to-dos for you. I think we should all eat our vegetables and take our vitamins. You know, we hear so much about PPE. We hear about masks, wear your mask, wear a mask. We hear about socially distancing. We hear about, all the things that we can do to protect ourselves from getting this virus. But there's more we can do about boosting our immune systems and keeping ourselves strong. You know, I work with clean energy innovators. I hope there's a number of you on this call. And I just want to say that when we look to economic recovery coming out of COVID, we're going to look to you to help rebuild our economy. We're going to look to you to start businesses and create jobs and bring your innovation to the state of California. And we need you strong to do that. So while we're in COVID, while we're all in lockdown, please take care of yourself. If you do yoga, do yoga. If you like to meditate, meditate. If you like to run, go for a run. If you like to deadlift, go lift some heavy things. Do whatever it is you can do to keep yourself healthy. Next slide. So I work at an organization called New Energy Nexus. We used to be the California Clean Energy Fund. And a few years ago, after more opportunities kind of came our way to work internationally, we went through an international expansion and really kind of developed our platform to accommodate different geographies around the world and to provide different kinds of services for clean energy startups. So our mission is to support diverse entrepreneurs to drive innovation and build equity into the global clean energy economy. And this is really tried and true in all of the programs that we do, not just CalSEED, not just CalTestBed that I'll talk about a little bit today, but some of the other programs that we have launched in New York, a lot going on in Southeast Asia, new programs in India. We're working in Uganda, and then also a lot in China as well. And so we're continuing to expand globally. And we're hoping to build off of, kind of what we're doing here in California, but also connect California to the broader global ecosystem. Next slide. So New Energy Nexus in California, what we do is we administer these programs on behalf of the California Energy Commission. These are EPIC programs. As Thomas was talking about, the electricity payment investment charge, what that is it's a little charge on your utility bill that goes into this huge pile of R&D money, the 130 million that Thomas mentioned. And that is given to clean tech startups through a series of grant programs. And at New Energy Nexus, we administer 2 of those grant programs on behalf of the California Energy Commission. One is CalSEED, one is CalTestBed. In addition to CleanStart, we work with the regional energy innovation clusters. So there's some similar logos on this slide to what Thomas had earlier. We do work with Activation Energy in the Bay Area. We do work with Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator, Blue Tech Valley out of CSU Fresno, and then also Southern California Energy Innovation Network out of San Diego. Specifically in the CalSEED program, there's these partners that we work with to deliver the program and to work with entrepreneurs. We work with Clean Tech Open. All of our entrepreneurs go through that accelerator program. We work with Momentum. You may have heard of them. They're based in Sacramento. If you've not heard of them, I highly recommend taking a look at them. They help different organizations kind of navigate the public funding landscape, as well as other things. We also work with the Greenlining Institute. We try to keep an eye towards social equity, diversity, equity, and inclusion from the beginning through the end of our program. We work with the Center for Energy Research, the Berkeley Lab, and the UC Davis Energy Efficiency Center. We work with Umberg Zipser, a legal firm, an IP legal firm in Orange County. I believe they're in Orange County, to help our entrepreneurs kind of navigate the legal ins and outs of state contracts. I also work for the Center of Sustainable Energy. And so this is really, this is a snapshot of this energy innovation ecosystem that the California Energy Commission is building out to support entrepreneurs, not just with funds, and not just with much needed money, but also kind of business development support services, helping build leadership skills among CEOs, helping to frame business plans, helping to come up with your elevator pitch and your value proposition, and all of these things that startups need to do in order to scale their technology. So it really is a broad ecosystem that we at New Energy Nexus and CleanStart is a part of. There's a lot of support for clean energy entrepreneurs. Next slide. So here's kind of the trajectory of what EPIC funding looks like. It's really designed to provide support to entrepreneurs as they start from really early stage, kind of back of the napkin idea, through actual commercialization. These are grant programs starting with CalSEED at kind of the super early stage research and development, as companies go through kind of finalizing their feasibility and coming up with the prototype. They are then ready for pilot demonstrations, for testing and verification. And that's where CalTestBed comes in. That's a voucher program. And then after that, once you have a viable pilot or prototype, you're ready to start getting customers, and you're ready to start really entering the market that you have figured out you need to enter through all of this support. And so CalCEED, CalTestBed, Bridge, RAMP, these are all really funding programs that help entrepreneurs at different stages, depending on your technical readiness level, depending on the maturity of your technology and kind of the stage of your company. You would fit into one of these different funding programs. There are different arrangements for each program, but they're really designed specifically for this stage of development. So for example, CalSEED is an undiluted grant along with support services. CalTestBed is a voucher that you would get to test your prototype in a testbed facility at one of the UCs throughout the state of California. And so each of these programs is really tailored to the stage of development that you're at. Next slide. So CalSEED specifically, this is the program that I work in. It stands for the California Sustainable Energy Entrepreneur Development Initiative. It's $24 million to 100 early stage companies over a period of 5 years. The grants can go up to $600 for early stage clean energy concepts. And also there's resources for utilizing some professional development opportunities. There's 2 stages to CalSEED. The first stage is what we call a concept award, and that is $150,000 undiluted grant dollars and some professional development resources. And then all of the concept awardees can then compete for a prototype award, which is another $450,000. And that is a business plan competition that is only available to concept awardees. What we've seen so far, we have 3 cohorts. We're looking to bring on board our 4th cohort in a few months. And what we've seen from the first 2 cohorts is that they've managed to raise $48 million in follow-on funding. And that's actually, that number is updated now that I'm looking at it. This was 48 million as of, I think, January. So there's definitely been more funds raised since then. And we really try to spread ourselves out across the whole state of California. There's 20 counties in our portfolio, and we go through a lot of effort to recruit entrepreneurs from outside of the Bay Area and Los Angeles. There's a lot of applications that come from Los Angeles and the Bay Area. And so we really drive to find entrepreneurs from other parts of the state. Next slide. So because this grant program is targeted for such early stage companies, we try to make the grant application as straightforward and simple and transparent as possible. We try to streamline the process. We receive more than 250 applications a year, so it is a lot of applications, but we also try to stay transparent, make the whole process with manuals and webinars as easy and as straightforward as possible. It's open to individuals, small businesses, and nonprofits. It's not open to universities or large corporations. The goal here is really to invest in small startups, small businesses, trying to inject capital into those kind of truly dedicated entrepreneurs. So we do a lot of strategic outreach, and CleanStart helps with that a lot. And we strive to award an equal number of awards per 4 regions in California. So we're really trying to spread these investments throughout the entire state. And you can see that because we try to make the application process straightforward, you don't need to have a background in grant writing to apply. You don't need to be part of a major tech center to have access to this. We're really trying to get kind of the untraditional, not typical entrepreneur. So we do like to see awards given to companies that are in disadvantaged communities. We like to see awards given to women and minority CEOs, and of course, also supporting the veterans in the state. Next slide. So that was a little bit about this like equity in approach we have. We try to ensure that the process is fair and transparent and everybody has access to it. But then we also do what we call this equity out approach, where we're making sure that the projects that we're investing in are building energy resilience for the state of California. These are EPIC funds. This money comes from you. It comes from anybody who pays a utility bill. And so we want to make sure that the technologies that we're funding are going to affect you in your daily life. And so we screen the applications to make sure that they fit at least one of these outcomes. So we want to fund technologies that can create economic opportunities, and specifically having a positive economic impact in low-income or disadvantaged communities. We want to fund technologies that increase access to clean energy technologies for people that would not otherwise have access to those solutions. We want to fund technologies that decrease pollution burden. Air pollution disproportionately impacts marginalized communities. And so if there's technologies that we can use and deploy to reduce air pollution, we want to fund them. We also want to fund technologies that can be deployed in low-income disadvantaged communities. And then also, if there's a technology that can help reduce or prevent public safety power shutoffs and really build up the resilience of the grid so that it can withstand or bounce back quickly from extreme weather-related events like wildfires. Next slide. So I have a captive audience. I need to give a shout out to my team. I work with a great team here in Oakland. Sarah Chester is our Director of Compliance. Alina Epperman is our Communications Manager, and Dawn Meza is our Grants Administrator. She works most closely with our entrepreneurs. And we are 4 people in New Energy Nexus. New Energy Nexus, I think we're at 60 people now. And we've been at New Energy Nexus the longest. And so this group of women right here works really hard to keep this program running. And I just want to give them a shout out because they are fantastic. Next slide. So finally, there's more to-dos for you. Please stay connected with New Energy Nexus. We have a mailing list that you can find at our website. There's also a Slack community, and the Slack community is not just entrepreneurs, but it's investors, it's people from government, it's people from different incubators and accelerators, and it's just a great resource. It's kind of a repository of different information, articles, resources, grant opportunities, funding opportunities. Also join the Empower Innovation Network. I think Thomas had this logo earlier in his presentation. The Empower Innovation Network is a platform that was developed for the California Energy Commission, and it was designed to be the go-to resource for all things clean energy innovation in the state of California. Since they've built it out and they've attracted a number of startups to create profiles and kind of select the things that you're looking for your company and some of the things that you can maybe provide, starting to build partnerships. They're also attracting investors to come and take a look at the companies that are in California, different government agencies to look at the new kinds of technologies and innovations that are coming out of California. Started in California, but it's grown. I mean, there's a number of people in there who are from not just other states around the United States, but also internationally. It's growing an international network, and so it's taking off in ways that I think were not planned, but are pretty great to see. And more specifically, there are some current opportunities, some application opportunities that are open right now. Due August 12th is Electron Vibe. This is a mentorship program that we just launched through our chapter in India. It's a mentorship program for clean energy startups. There's also due August 28th is an Evm Battery Challenge. This is a collaboration that we have with Hyundai, Kia, and another automotive company looking specifically at EVs and batteries. And that the prize of that competition is collaboration with these battery manufacturers and EV manufacturers. I believe there's some money, but there's also a lot of mentorship, lab space, and collaboration with these large corporate partners in those sectors. And then moving to kind of the public funding area, on October 9th is the due date for bridge applications. Bridge is that kind of third program that you saw in that trajectory of EPIC funding. This is a CEC grant. It's designed to bring rapid innovation development to clean energy. I think that application window is open right now, but it's due October 9th. And that is a CEC grant. The next CEC grant that is due October 3rd is RAMP. And that's for realizing accelerated manufacturing and production for clean energy technologies. I will say, if you are looking to apply to CEC grants, some of the things that I've mentioned here about creating economic opportunities, increasing access, reducing the need for public safety power shutoffs, reducing air pollution, all of these things are important for EPIC funds. So if you are applying, it is good to throw in how your technology can advance those things anywhere you can in the application, because there is an emphasis or there is a need for these EPIC funds to go to innovations that can support ratepayers in California through those things. And so those things that I was talking about, they're not just important for CalCEED or CalTestBed, but they're important for all of the funding that comes out of the state of California. And I think that wraps it up.
So right now I'm going to kind of just go back one slide and open it up to any questions people might have.
Joy, on the bridge and ramp program, is there any matching fund requirement on those?
There is. I'm not sure what the percentage is.
Yeah, it might be a 20% match, which is different than the CalCEED grants, the 150 and the 450, which don't require a match. So just people should be aware of taking a look at those requirements if they apply.
Yeah, that's a really good point. As looking at that kind of trajectory of CalCEED, CalTestBed, bridge, ramp, it's assumed that, or it's designed so that as you are kind of later stage in your technology development, you have more sophisticated financial tracking systems, you have the system in place, you have people on your team that can help you, figure out all of your finances. You've done some fundraising, and so it does get, the grant requirements also get more complicated with these later stage grant opportunities, and match funding is a great example of how much more complicated it can get.
And on the cohort we did in June, have those been announced as the 2020 cohort out? Or you were talking about the fourth cohort, is that one or the one for 21?
So we had a solicitation in 2020 and the winners have not been announced yet.
Okay. All right.
I see Daniel Clark has his hand up.
Yeah, quick question. So let's say if someone received the CalCEED, maybe they get the second round of the CalCEED the next year or not. If their technology moves faster, let's say they find a good amount of investment, have you ever seen any cases where people are able to bypass like the test bed and go to bridge?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. The way it's designed to kind of shepherd entrepreneurs through this process, but everybody kind of moves at their own pace. You know, you could have a breakthrough and your prototype is like ready to go, and then you find customers, and so maybe you don't need the opportunities that's presented by testbed or bridge, and maybe you're ready for ramp. And it's also assuming, you know, it's not just public funding that you're going for, because if you're smart, you should be trying to get money everywhere. And so it's absolutely common that some companies don't follow that exact trajectory, that depending on how quickly they move, how much they fundraise, how much they network, they just apply for whatever kind of applies to them where they're at.
Thanks, Joy. I appreciate that.
Joy, this is JD Stack. I'm with Empower Advisors Consultancy, and a client I've been working with, Capital Energy Systems of Sacramento, competed in this last CalCEED cohort. And I believe they just received a letter indicating they were not selected for the concept award. Now, during the process of preparing, we were considering also applying for the Cal testbed, because Capital Energy Systems is in the midst of developing a new product, and the Cal testbed looked like it could be a very timely fit. But we were advised that we probably shouldn't, shouldn't apply for a Cal testbed if we were going for a CalCEED. With regard to Cal testbed, at this point in time, is it open for applications? Is that something we can take another look at to apply for?
It's not open right now. There will be another solicitation, I believe, next year for Cal testbed. But I don't know who told you not to apply for both at the same time.
I don't remember, actually.
Yeah, I think
But they can apply for both, right?
you can absolutely apply for both. You can apply for both at the same time. And I think, honestly, if you think you're even marginally eligible for something, you should apply for it. Just go for it.
Okay. Very good. And for those that are not selected, is there an opportunity for kind of a debrief so that they could learn from the process about weaknesses in their proposal or weaknesses in their development program?
Absolutely. You know, we do provide all of the comments from judges and the scoring criteria, so that you can see kind of firsthand what the technical advisory committee says. So just reach out to, you know, if you respond to that email asking for feedback, you can absolutely get that feedback.
Okay. And would we do that through you?
I think there's an info account, I think, that manages these requests, and you're more likely to get a quicker response if you go through the info account, because there are multiple people that monitor that website or that email address. My inbox is crazy.
Okay.
So if you want a quick response, I recommend going
so the info account URL would be what?
It's info@calseed.fund.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Aaron has his hand up. Aaron, you want
to? Hi, Joy. Thanks for your presentation. My name is Aaron. I'm with Solar Tree, and I was just wondering, what can we do to be the most competitive? I know you talked about like the application like those criteria that we want to address in our applications, but what really can set us apart from other businesses so that we get chosen?
I think one thing that is really important to do is write very clearly. You know, the application process is simple. You can see all the application questions online. And so, I mean, one thing if it were me applying, I would take the application questions. I would start a Word document and answering them. And then I would go back and edit them and edit and edit and edit, just to make it crystal clear what you're doing, make it crystal clear what the benefits will be to the state of California, make it crystal clear what you've done so far so that it's easy for judges to evaluate what you've done and what you propose to do. I don't think judges are impressed by buzzwords. I don't think global climate change is definitely an issue and it's something that we're all trying to address. But this grant is so specific to clean energy innovation that if you hone in on your technology, you hone in on the benefits of the technology and you can describe it very clearly without the buzzwords. Don't overuse jargon, keep it super straightforward. That's, I think, your best bet.
Okay. Is there anything beyond the application process that might help us as well?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think CleanStart does a lot to work with startups in packaging what they're doing for the application process. And then I don't know where you are, but if you can perhaps get in touch with one of those regional energy innovation clusters like Blue Tech Valley. They're an excellent resource, not just for applying for grants, but for your business development and finding other opportunities. Utilizing those clusters. They're great people, very resourceful, and they're here to help you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Want to respect your time. How are you doing on time, Joy?
I have until I like 10 more minutes.
Okay. So Wilson has a question. Has COVID affected the CalSEED and CalTestBed funding going forward?
It has not. Our timelines have stayed the same with regards to like the programs at New Energy Nexus. I think because we already kind of do so much remotely, it was pretty straightforward for us to start working from home. And hopefully, I don't know if anybody follows EPIC funding, but it looks like EPIC funding is going to be renewed for another 10 years later this month at the business meeting for the CPUC. So the funding stream is going to stay there. I think where we have seen the effects is that people just can't get into lab space. They can't get into their workplaces. The companies in the CalSEED profile, as many of you probably are limited by just how far you can go without coming into contact with people. Labs are shut down, office buildings are shut down. And when you're creating a prototype or when you're innovating, it's not something you can always just move to your living room. It's not something that you can always do in shelter in place. And so a lot of the companies that we work with have had to, change their scope of work and change what they were, but they came into the program wanting to do. They've had to pivot and adjust a little bit. And I think, as many of you probably know, making those adjustments for something that is completely out of your control is exhausting. Which is why you need to take your vitamins. You need to eat your vegetables. You need to jog. You need to yoga. You need to take care of yourself because this is a crazy ride that you guys are on. This is a little nuts. So self-care is very, very important.
All right. Do we have any other questions for Joy?
Well, not for Joy, but I'm intrigued. So Josephine Strandgaard has joined us, and Josephine, you're new to the group there, and you're showing a royal crest. So where are you located, Josephine?
Sure. Hey everybody, I'm Josephine. I'm located in San Francisco. My royal logo is because I work for something called Innovation Center Denmark, which is an organization connecting Denmark to Silicon Valley. So I'm here today just to we're really interested to learn more about the new Energy Nexus, because we're looking into what does California do different, and how can we learn from California to do even better in Denmark. Yeah.
All right. Well, there's a connection for you, Joe.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining.
Yeah,
All
very
right.
interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank everyone for attending. I want to highlight ways that you can stay connected. Also remind people, guidance for energy companies at Moss Adams on the 27th, and T3DP, Daniel Clark, presenting at 1 Million Cups next week, and register for the Epic Virtual Forum. They're doing a lot of work to try to make it a virtual forum where people can connect with a virtual events hall, a lot of small discussions. It's looking really good, and I know a lot of Sacramento companies are actually going to be hopefully doing some of the lightning talks at it. So register for that. Sign up for all the CleanStart stuff. This is will of course be on our YouTube channel, so you can go there and watch it as many times as you want, and some of the past ones. I want to highlight our other program sponsors of EY and Hacker Lab and our community of partners. And with that, I'm going to conclude the meeting. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm going to go ahead and stop the live stream.